And welcome to the show as always. Back in the garden once again today, being as it's a rather nice sunny... Well, the sun's in and out today, actually. It's not too bad, but I can see lots of clouds in the sky. I do hope we don't have rain later. Will this be an end to our British summer? We've had 4 whole days in a row. I can't believe it. For almost a week. Almost a week, actually, in a row of sunshine we've had here in the UK. Can't believe it. I'm sitting next to my little flowers, and today, for added excitement and interest, a small bowl of fruit in front of me. Now, I'm looking at this fruit and wondering, is this the reason? Could this be... Oh, can you hear me all right? There we are. My microphone's fallen down. Just a minute. Could this be part of the reason that the excess weight has come on? Is it this fruit? Is it the little oranges and the lemons and the bananas, the strawberries and the grapes? Probably not in small amounts, but possibly in the extremely large amounts that I'm eating at the moment. I don't know. Hello to you, my name's Chris Reardon. This is United Kingdom Talk, our 3 times a week talk show. You're very welcome along. What else has gone wrong this week? Oh yes, something's going wrong with the bread. Now, regular viewers and listeners will know I have a bread machine. And for some reason, the bread is not rising properly. Why? Oh, actually, just a minute. I've got a loaf in the kitchen. Stand up. Just a minute. Stay there. Stay there. I forgot all about this. I meant to have a listen to the birds. Now, I thought I'd leave you alone with the birds for a while. Now, here it is. I'm sitting in front of one of my loaves of bread. Actually, this one isn't too bad. It has at least risen a bit. But it does feel a bit dense. You know, a little bit like my brain, really, to be honest, dense. So what's going on there? Bread makers all over. I know some of you make bread. Now, you might be wondering, as you can hear, listen, it's actually sitting on my grill. Why is that? Because when bread is made... Oh, put it over there. When bread is made, you have to immediately take it out of the bread tin, otherwise it becomes dense. Which is strange, because I took that out of the bread tin and it's still dense. The moment the alarm went off, beep, 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 I took it out of the machine and it's still dense. It's rised a bit. It's better than the last few loaves, I have to say, but not very good. Why is that? I'm not putting too much water in. I was aware that was a problem. Our friend Joy in Acton told me that. Oh, talking to Joy in Acton, I have promised to get her on the phone soon, and that will happen. I also promised to get Gwen on the phone. Do you remember Gwen? She's the young lady of only 71 years old. Yes, and she comes along to our karaoke night at Belushi's in Hammersmith every Monday. I've promised to get her on the phone, but unfortunately her phone is out of order and has been so now for over a week. It's a joke, really. She's with this firm called Talk, and she reckons the customer service is just hideous. Now, years ago in this country, here in the United Kingdom, we used to have just one... we had 2 telephone companies, British Telecom and Hull Telecommunications. Now, Hull Telecommunications, they were a very small company and they only served one town in the UK. The rest of the UK was covered by British Telecom. And I think it all worked reasonably well. If you had a fault, you rang up British Telecom and they sorted it out. End of story. Sometimes it was quick, sometimes it was a bit slow. But you only had one point of contact to deal with. Now, when it was all deregulated and all these private firms came in and started offering telephone services, it becomes more complicated. And I'll tell you why. Because each company kind of... How can I put this so you can understand it? Kind of rents wires from others. So you can kind of... Your call can kind of travel along a piece of wire that belongs to BT and then travel along a piece of wire belonging to someone else. So when there's a fault, they can't decide where the fault is and they start blaming each other and say, oh no, you've got to ring them, or no, you've got to ring them. And it's a bit of a nightmare, really. It's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. They should have left it. They should have completely left the phones alone. I mean, when I was younger, I suppose I was all for this privatisation business. I quite like the idea of, you know, getting shares or getting a little bit of money for nothing because all this was going on. Now, I'm not so sure. And it goes along with other certain nationalised industries like the water industry. I don't believe that should ever have been privatised. You know, how can you... I just think it's criminally wrong to be making money from something that is, let's face it, a necessity of life. None of us could live without water. I think the rail industry, I think that's a bit of a mess. If you want to travel here in the UK, then there are an array of fares to choose from, and we've mentioned this before. Certainly, James Dean, when he comes down, spends quite a bit of time on the internet looking for the cheapest way to get to and from London. He's in Manchester. That's James Dean, who hosts the matinee show, matineeshow.co.uk. And, I mean, there's various ways of coming to London from Manchester. You can do it by train, you can do it by coach. Next time he's coming, I do believe he's doing it by coach, right? And how much do you think he's paying? Now, this coach is called the Megabus. £2.50. That's right. All the way from Manchester, £2.50. Now, you can spend almost, if not as much as, or more than, £100 on a train journey coming from Manchester to London and back. You've got to check the prices. If you do it, the worst way to travel here in the UK now seems to be on the spur of the moment. If you can book in advance, then you save an awful lot of money. And if you're not particularly bothered how you come here, then it always seems to me the cheapest way to travel would be to walk, but that would take a long time from Manchester. And believe me, James Day, he doesn't walk, but he waddles. He's a bit like a duck. If you see him from behind, you know, his bum shakes from side to side. He is a bit like a duck, the way James... I don't think he'd ever get here, to be honest. He'd have to keep stopping off for snacks along the way, although he does go on and on about losing so much weight at the moment because he's doing the gym, isn't he? Oh, God. I can't be doing gym. It bores me to tears. I've tried it so many times. Yes, he's weighing less than me at the moment, although I just weighed myself before I came on today, and I'm now 13 stone 5 pounds. Do you remember? Was it last show or the show before that? I was 13 stone 7 pounds. So I'm quite pleased about that. Smiling face, right? I think that's possibly because the chocolate marshmallows that my sister bought me have now run out. I'm pretty sure it's to do with that. Also the fact that it's been a few days since I had that third of a tin of iced ring biscuits. Do you remember those? That were about 4 months old, but very tasty anyway. And I think it's because I haven't had anything like that. Anyway, we're getting off the subject here. I forgot what I was talking about now. What was it? Oh, the bread not rising. Anyone know why the bread's not rising? Do let us know by the email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Was I talking about privatisation? Oh dear, the water board, the electricity as well, and the gas, they're all privatised. I just don't think, as I say, when I was younger, it's quite nice to be given free shares and this, that and the other, but the long-term thing of privatised, I wonder, I do wonder if we were still nationalised like the gas and the electricity board, would the prices have gone up so dramatically as they did last year? Was it something like 40 or 40%, 30, 40%, wasn't it? Or something like that? Dreadful, dreadful. What else we got here? Oh, and talking of bread not rising, why is it, here's a question for you, why is it that toast, you know when you do toast, okay, you do it in a toaster or under the grill or indeed over an open fire if you're lucky enough to have one of those. Oh, I'd love an open fire, wouldn't you? I remember going scout camping and there was always a big bonfire somewhere in the middle of the camp, wasn't there? And indeed, I don't know if the scouts and guides and all that are now allowed to cook on open fires. I would imagine, unfortunately, in this day and age when the health and safety people take over, I don't know if they're allowed to actually cook on open fires anymore, but it's a fantastic way to do it. I mean, to go camping with a gas stove, something like that, I mean, it's not the same. You've got to go out there, collect your bits of wood, put them in a pile in the middle, put some sort of grating round on the top there, and cook. Have you ever had sausages like that? Beautiful, beautiful. And also, you can do your toast on it. You get a fork, and you put your bread on the end. Maybe you've got an open fire at home. You could try this, couldn't you? Put the bread on the end of put your bread on the end of the fork, and just hold it in front of the fire, and your arm won't ache. It doesn't take very long. It's actually much quicker than a toaster. But even if you've not got an open fire, why is it that toast always seems to taste better when it's done under a grill? Have you noticed that? It always tastes better under the grill. You try it. Try it yourself. Firstly, put a bit of toast in your toaster. And also, at the same time, because we've got to do the experiment properly. Dr. Carl, who I listen to quite regularly, he does science questions on Triple J in Australia. This is Triple J, Australia's national youth station, with Dr. Carl. He does all these questions. And if you do an experiment, you have to do it correctly. You see, because time of day, temperature, daylight, all these things affect an experiment. So if you're going to do something like one way and another way, you've got to do it at the same time on the same day. Yes? Oh, you must be accurate, dear. We must be accurate. So put a bit of toast in the toaster, and then put a bit of toast... put a bit of bread in the toaster, because it's not toast yet, is it? Remember that, okay? Bread is not toast until it's been toasted. So if you're putting it in the toaster, it's not toast yet, is it? Think about that one. See, I'm full of useful information, aren't I? Put a bit of bread in the toaster, put a bread in the grill, turn them both on. When it's finished, turn them off, bit of butter on top, and tell me which one tastes better. And we don't want any clever bums. We don't want any clever bums saying, oh, they both taste the same. No, they don't. It always tastes better under a grill. Now, I would have thought that's a question for Wayne, Anonymous, because he likes all those sort of things, explaining things to me all the time, don't you, Wayne? And I thank you for that. We need technical people on this programme. Email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. So we're looking forward to another visit from James Dean here in Royal Berkshire. That's twice this year has been. He's going to London to do something. Now, I don't suppose one moment that I'm not sure if he's coming to visit me, or is it because he knows he can have the spare room for nothing? In which case, should I introduce a charge? I'm not sure. Anyway, it'll be a bit different for him this time. Oh no, hang on. When's he coming? He's not coming for about 4 weeks, I think. Actually, yes, it'll all be done. By the time he comes, the studio will have been decorated, and I shall have my Virgin Media 50 meg broadband. Yes. Joy and Axon's wondering, what is Virgin Media 50 meg broadband, aren't you? Well, Joy, broadband is the way that I send this show to everyone, for example, and do emails and things like that. The number 50 means it's very fast. Think of a road, okay? At the moment, I'm driving down, I have 20 meg, so even that's quite fast. I'm driving at 20 mile an hour down the motorway, okay? When I get the 50 meg, I will be driving down the road at 50 miles an hour. So everything will work much faster. It must go faster and faster and faster. Yes. Speed is of the essence, Joy. Otherwise, we all come to a grinding halt. So he's coming. When's he coming? I think Friday. My Virgin Media broadband is coming. And what was the... I think they're coming in the morning, so quite excited about that. I hope he comes early. I hate that when you have to wait for someone, don't you? And you can't get anything done. I mean, it won't get down to the swimming pool. Incidentally, I still haven't decided what to do. I have now inquired at the... if you saw the last couple of shows, you'll know this. I've got to renew my sports centre membership. Now, I belong to a private one just up the road. and the renewal fee is £715. Lot of money. Awful lot of money. You can pay monthly if you want, but that actually, if you pay monthly, I do believe it works out even more expensive. If you can pay annually, you know, take the money out of the bank or something, you actually get, or at least you did the last 2 times, you get 1 month free. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. However, I have no, you see, the problem is it's a lovely sports centre. They've got gymnasium facilities, keep fit, they've got a swimming pool, and I can use all these things as part of my membership. The problem is I only use the swimming pool. I have no interest in the gym whatsoever. People keep saying, why don't you try it? You see, I've got no interest. I don't want to try it. And if you go into the gym with that attitude, and you can't change it, how can you change your attitude about something that you don't like? That's the thing. If you don't want to do it, you're not going to enjoy it, are you? It's a bit like when you're a child, you know, that your mum says, oh, go and try some, you might like it, and you don't want it, do you? So as soon as you try it, you don't like it anyway, because you've already switched off in your mind that you're not going to like this thing. And isn't that the same with life in general? If you don't want to do something, it's like me and DIY. I don't like doing DIY. Therefore, whenever I attempt it, I usually muck it up. Big time. Because I didn't want to do it in the first place. And people say, oh, it's easy. It's not easy if you don't want to do it. Simple as that. Isn't it? So, I mean, I don't like the gym, so I don't use any of that facility. So basically, I'm paying I would be paying £715 a year just to use the swimming pool. Now, if you actually break it up, which my friend Ron told me to do, if you break it up, it doesn't actually work out that expensive per week. I think it works out something like about £13 or £14 per week. Now, if I go 5 times a week, that's 2, 4, 6. It's about, I don't know, £2.50, £2.80 per visit. So then it doesn't sound so much, does it? And I thought about that until I checked on the internet at how much it would cost now to use the council-run swimming pool. And do you know what? It's less than half the price. For the year, I believe it worked out to about £320. So you see, there's a huge difference there. The only thing is, I don't know if I like it there that much. It's been a few years since I used the council-run swimming baths. The reason I stopped using it, as I've mentioned before, is because the showers you had to share showers with girls and boys in the same lot of showers, so you couldn't take your trunks off and have a shower or anything like that. I don't think that's changed. I gather now they have a little area where there are cubicles, so presumably you can strip off and wash yourself properly, but I don't know. And I always remember that pool being particularly cold. There were actually 3 pools there. One is like a children's pool, which is very, very shallow. You couldn't swim in that. And then you've got like the training pool, which is a full-length pool. And then you have the adult, the main pool, which is very deep. Now, I don't like going in deep pools. I mean, your feet don't touch the ground. You know, you can dive in and all that business. So I usually go in the training pool, which is quite pleasant. Or I remember it as pleasant, but it was never particularly warm. Unlike the one at the sports centre at the moment, which is, I mean, is rarely cold. So what I might do is just pack myself off to the council-run one day next week, and just see if it's changed at all from what I remember. Okay, what else have we got? I told you about Gwen and her telephone. Yeah, she's got trouble with the telephone at the moment. It's been out. It's not been working now properly for 2 weeks. 2 weeks! It's shocking, isn't it? Absolutely shocking. So fingers crossed there. News on the Union Jack that was hanging behind me in the studio. I have been reliably informed, and there's been a couple of emails in, that actually, yes, the Union Jack was hanging up correctly, so I was wrong, because I thought I'd put the thing up upside down, hadn't I? But no, not at all. The Union Jack was indeed hanging up correctly. All right? So there. You thought I'd got that wrong? I thought I'd got that wrong as well. Just want to talk to you a little bit about one of our other friends in the world of podcasting, Joe, from AmericanTalkUSA.com. All right, have a look at that one, AmericanTalkUSA.com. He does a fantastic podcast, and in one of his more recent ones, I think this is about 2 weeks old, program number 88, you might be interested in. And he talks about the differences between creating a podcast or working for, well, not necessarily working and being paid, but well, I suppose, yeah, it is like working for an online radio station. He tells you about some of the differences there. The fact that perhaps on a podcast, I mean, you can say anything you want. I could sit here on my podcast and swear and say all sorts of things and not get into trouble, okay? But when you're doing a radio show, which this is as well as a podcast, you don't want to upset people, really. You don't swear or anything like that. Actually, come to think of it, since I've been doing this show, which is 3 years ago now, about 3.5 years now, is it? 05, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, October 2005. Since I've been doing this, my mouth has cleaned up quite a lot, even when I'm not doing the show. I used to swear left, right and centre. Honestly, dreadful. And for some strange reason, my mouth has cleared up quite a lot. So there we are. But Joe was saying, for example, it's not a done thing. Depending if you're doing a show for a radio station, it is never a done thing to mention another radio station. Do you see what I mean? For example, if I was doing this show on BBC Radio 2... I wouldn't mention, Talk Sport. It's just not done. But when you're on a podcast, it doesn't matter. And he talks a little bit about that. And he had an offer, apparently, to do a show on a UK online station, but turned it down because he felt the restrictions were too much, which is fair enough, Joe. I mean, completely understand that. I know our friend Ross P from rospatzelt.co.uk, he does a podcast, and he recently stopped doing his show on online stations because of this restriction. There's nothing nasty about it. The managers or the people who run these online stations are not being nasty here, but you have to understand their point of view, and that is... they don't want people to hear about other radio stations and then tune away, do they? Think about it. So, I mean, you know, it works all way. You can understand the podcaster and also you can understand the online radio station as well. You can do both at the same time, as I do. This programme is on radio and is also on podcast as well. But you have to understand, you know, there are kind of certain unwritten limits that I think one has to adhere to if one is going on an online station. So Joe talks about that, and it's quite interesting, his views on there, really good. But more interesting even than that is his recent experience, and of course his dear mother's, his mother's Christine's recent experience with a cancer hospital. And he goes on to talk about how the cancer hospital treated and how it all works and everything, and it's absolutely fascinating. Okay, and this is apparently one of the most famous or sought after hospitals in the USA that his mother went to. And if you'd like to listen to that, it really is quite a fascinating listen. Just go to AmericanTalkUSA.com. All right, AmericanTalkUSA.com, and you want programme number 88 for that, okay? Programme 88. That's right, yeah. I think he's done about, if I remember rightly, there's about 90 shows up there before, at the moment, 90 shows. Also, if you go back a little bit, something else that Joe was trying out, and for some reason he wasn't happy with the results, I think, when he was going to Peru. and helping people who are not as fortunate as possibly yourself and me as well. And he spent a lot of time going out with I think a church medical type thing, and they went up and down on a boat assisting people, which was fantastic. And that also is a really good listen. Now, I haven't got the programme number of that one, so you'll have to go back, I think, to roughly last... I think it was last August 2008, somewhere around that period. And he does this fascinating thing about what went on in Peru, and he took a lot of audio there, and he spent a lot of time and effort doing those shows from Peru, and really is interesting. For whatever reason, Joe decided no longer to go along that path, I think. So now really just turns the microphone on and talks about his life, which is great, which is exactly what I do on this one. But I thought that little series of programmes was fantastic. So once again, if you have a look at Joe's website, Joe's AmericanTalkUSA.com, okay? AmericanTalkUSA.com is the website. Look for programme 88 about the cancer hospital, and then if you want to have a little look further, go back to sort of last August. I think it was around August, June, July, August, September, October, somewhere around there, and you'll find the shows on Peru, and there's a few of them, all right? A lot of time and effort making those shows, and I thought it came across really well, Joe. Okie doke then, let's do some emails. First of all, it's our cat lover, Susan. Hello, Susan, my darling. I hope your little animals are purring away. Are they purring? Oh, my one's just appeared. Isn't that funny? You say the name cat and... Oh, she's gone again. Katie? Katie? Where are you? I just felt her brush along my leg. Where's she gone now? Katie? How did she do that? She's disappeared. Perhaps she is a ghost cat. Do you reckon? Susan writes, on the subject of the black box I was considering buying to give me ISDN, it's a special phone line to a radio studio. I was considering buying, but we're going to try something else out first again. Hi, Chris. Because it was a very expensive item and wouldn't be used that much, at least not at the moment. Susan says, as far as buying that expensive piece of equipment so you can do your show at home, this is my advice. I listen to a financial radio show over here by a man named Dave Ramsey. Now, I've not heard of him, okay? We have a couple of... Oh, I can't believe it, that sun's moved around again, right in my eyes. I might have to get the sunglasses out, I don't know. While I do agree with his political views on some things, he gives excellent financial advice. So here is what I think you should consider. If you do not have any outstanding credit card bills, certainly not. Good God. I tell you what, I'm really good with my credit card. I pay off the amount every month. Absolutely. I'm very clever. I know how much I'm spending throughout the month. So come the end of the month, I roughly know how much it's going to be, and that's it. I do it like that. Now, the only reason, really, I use a credit card is not necessarily to borrow money. I actually don't agree with borrowing money for anything other than a house and a car. That's it. I do not believe in borrowing money for furniture, for holidays, certainly not for Christmas. It is the most ridiculous thing, which we've covered this subject many times. We usually cover this subject around the Christmas period, just before, and I beg people not to borrow money. It's the most stupid thing you can do. Borrowing money for Christmas and holidays. And if you can't afford to buy someone that massive present that they want, then you don't buy it. You get them something else. When I was a kid, you know, we didn't have the best presents that everyone else had in my school. I always remember one particular year, I think, the present of the year was a calculator. And everyone came back after Christmas with these big calculators. They'd only just come out. And I didn't have one, and I felt really left out. But my parents didn't go into debt because of it. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I wanted a calculator. I wanted an electric train set instead, which I've still got. I've still got my electric train set in the cupboard. 1 minute, stay there. Actually, let me have a... I say the cupboard rather foolishly. I've left it. I keep all this stuff in the shed outside, and a lot of it's gone rusty now, which is a shame. Just a second. Let me have a look at it. Hang on a minute. Let me have a look. Just a minute, I'm having a look. Right, back in a second. It's in here somewhere. I think it is, anyway. Where is it, my trains? Oh dear. Where are your trains? Oh, I can't find them now. Oh, they're not there. I must have moved them. Oh. Well, I don't know where they've gone, actually. Back here we are. No, I can't find them now. Yes, I think that year I actually wanted an electric train set rather than a calculator. So I can't complain, but I've never understood these people that borrow money for Christmas and holidays. It's madness. Is that sun going to come right in my eyes? I better look old now, don't I? Those of you watching on the YouTube, why is it that you only got to have a bit of sun hit you in the face and then you look 200 years old, don't you? Well, I am 200 years old. Susan says... As I say, if you don't have any outstanding credit card bills, no, I certainly don't. Oh, the thought of having to pay interest just fills my mind with fear. Or loans on furniture, televisions, no, none of those. And the only major bill is your mortgage and utilities. If you don't have those things, I would go ahead and treat yourself to this new piece of equipment, but only if you pay cash for it, no financing. Well, I actually consider... The sun's right in my eyes. I'll have to get the sunglasses in a second. No financing. Well, I don't consider using my credit card as financing because I always pay it off at the end of the month. So to me, that credit card is just like cash to me, knowing that at the end of the month I pay it off. So you're probably wondering, why do I use my credit card and not just pay cash and be done with it? The reason for that is I get 1%, I think, which may not sound a lot. I get 1% of all my purchases back in January each year. Okay? Which, as I say, month by month isn't a lot, but 12 months worth of 1% is can work out to £100 or so. You know, if you keep using your credit card for everything, which I do, and I put the money in, as I get paid, the money goes in the bank, right? I use the credit card all month, and then at the end of the month, I pay the credit card bill with the money in the bank, and then it gives me 1% of what I spent, and it all comes back in January. That's the only reason I use the credit card. Absolutely the only reason. If that wasn't there, if that cashback thing wasn't there, I wouldn't have the credit card. End of story. I don't think I would anyway. Actually, I might. No, I might actually, because you have to pay for things on the internet. I mean, you can't send cash through the post or anything like that, can you? Would you like to have a look at my credit card? I don't think so. No, you're not going to have a look at my numbers. Thank you very much. I know your game. Trying to get my information out of me like that. Cheeky people. From what you have said about your finances in the past, I think this is what you had planned to do anyway. What, purchase the box? I had thought about it. Honestly, Susan, I had thought about it seriously. But I'm sure, with the internet as it is now and what have you, I'm sure there is another way of doing it totally free of charge. Or much cheaper. I'm sure there is. I do believe ISDN is very good. To explain once again, if you missed any of the other shows, it's an extra pair of wires that goes from your wherever you are to wherever you want to go to, and it gives you broadcast quality line. You see, not like a telephone where it's a little bit metallic. It would sound like I'm talking to you now. So that's what it is. But I'm sure there's another way to do it. We've already tried one way on the radio station I do the live show for, and it didn't work out. But I think it didn't work out because the settings I had at my end were incorrect. I'm pretty sure it was my fault it didn't work too well. Susan says, but if you still owe on your rental properties or need other repairs, I would pay these off before I make any other purchases. Oh yes, I mean, I do have a little bit of property, but it's all mortgaged, okay? I don't actually, the only thing I own outright is my own house. I don't own any of the other little properties. They're all mortgaged out. They have people paying rent, and the rent kind of pays the mortgage. And at the moment, in the climate as it is now, with very low interest rates, the rental is more than covering the mortgage, so that's good news. Now, I was also asking about my bulbs, my little daffodil bulbs. I've got some mini daffodils next to me, actually, which are looking quite wonderful, I think. And I was asking, if you cut the flower stems, right, do they come up blind the next year? Because I've noticed out in the communal area just in front of my house, a lot of the daffodils now come up blind. Now, some of these daffodils have been in the ground 10 years or more, so is that just what happens? I'm getting the leaves come up, but no flowers with stalks with little flowers on the end. So why is that? And Susan says, about your bulbs, it is okay to cut the flowers off, but the foliage, which I suppose is the leaves around the edge, isn't it? The foliage must stay on the plant until it turns brown. This is the way plants get their nutrients. There are several other reasons why they may not bloom. Number one, if the bulbs have not been divided for several years, which mine haven't, this may need doing. She says, knowing you have probably never done this. See, she knows already, Susan. You do know already, don't you? Number two, if you haven't fertilised in a couple of years, then may need some fertiliser. This is best used when the foliage is just emerging or when the plant is in bloom. So now would be the time to do that, really, I suppose. She says, on the other hand, too much fertiliser can encourage foliage to grow and plants not to bloom. Oh, it's one of those no-win situations, really, isn't it? And she says, the most common reason, though, Chris, is that the bulbs need dividing. Just dig them up and separate the new clumps. They can be replanted straight away. So thank you for that, Susan. I shall take great advice in that one. Do you mind, I tell you what, do you mind if I just put my, I'm going to put my, I'm a bit concerned flies. I don't see any flies around, but flies landing on my new loaf of bread. Let me just put that back in the kitchen. Okay. There we are. One minute, second. Have a listen to the birds. Sorry about that, there we are. I keep disappearing today, don't I? 1 minute I'm in the shed, then I'm in the kitchen. Hello to Nick Evans. Hello, Nick. Oh, I haven't heard from him for a while now. Now, Nick runs a very good site called britishpages.org. All one word, britishpages.org. And if you're in the UK, or you've been to the UK, I went. Actually, the real reason I went into the kitchen then was to get my sunglasses, and I haven't bought them out. Oh well, let's get on with it. Hi Chris, just wanted to drop a quick line to say hello again. Now, as I say, if you've had anything to do with the UK, or indeed you're here, pay attention now, because someone needs our help, boys and girls. Someone needs our help for his website. And he says, on this particular site, you can watch United Kingdom Talk. He says, we are still posting your video on our homepage and watch every show. I especially laugh when you make those funny noises, you know. Then one when you hold your head back. You mean this one? I like doing that to people who have never met me. They think I'm really off my rocker. And they start saying, why'd you do that noise? And I say, what noise? The noise you just did. And I'm just like, I haven't done any noises. And they're like, oh right, okay. There you go. And I'm like, what? You just did the noise. I said, I haven't done any noise. Oh, right. And then you can see them go off to their friends and talk about me. Can you do it? Let's try it all together. Are you ready? After 3, 1, 2, 3. Suko in New York, can you do it? Have you ever tried it? Suko's coming over soon, aren't you? Oh, I got an email here from Suko, just a little one. Little one. Where is it now? Oh, here it is. Yes. Because Suko's coming over soon, she says, if we treated you, would you want to come and see Oliver with us? Of course, Suko. Any free night is good to me. I'll tell you what, Suko, if you want, if you take me to see Oliver, I will, in exchange, take you and your entire family to McDonald's. Quite it noisy now. Listen to the blooming noise. I can't believe what a cheek, someone's cutting their grass. Oh dear, the dogs are out and everything. Blooming noise today, dear, very noisy. Back to this, yes, so Suko, I would love to come and see Oliver with you, alright? Where are we now? I especially love when you make those funny noises, you know, then one where you hold your head back. I can't even describe it on email. It reminds me of when I'm having a mad half hour. Do you have those as well? I think there's a dog having one at the moment. Oh my God. Actually, where's Katie? Katie! I don't know where she is. She's not being eaten by the dog, I hope. Nick also says, that keyring you produced the other day, as people have already told us, you have a picture of Ernesto Che Guevara. He was an Argentine Marxist, revolutionary, politician, author, physician, military theorist and guerrilla leader. Cool, he had a lot of jobs, didn't he? Did he get paid for all of those? What a lot of jobs. After death, his stylized image became an ubiquitous countercultural symbol worldwide. I think there is a movie coming out about him soon. I honestly never... Well, I've heard of the name Che Guevara, but I've never seen his picture at all. He was a... What do you say? He was a countercultural symbol. Whose pictures have I seen more than anyone else? I suppose Mother Teresa, the Pope, the Queen. Who else do I recognise? Yeah, but I've never saw that one before. Funny, innit? Anyway, here's the thing, boys and girls. Here's what Nick wants help with. He says, can you do me a huge favour? I'm trying to get people to post pictures to my website of places around the UK. Now, if you want to do that, please go to his website. You can either do one of two things. Either go to britishpages.org/photos. All right, once again, britishpages.org/photos. Or you can email the pictures direct to Nick and tell him I sent them. Chris from United Kingdom Talk sent you, so he knows where they've come from. If it's too technical, you can email them to post, P-O-S-T, at britishpages.org. Okay? Post at britishpages.org. He says, we love pictures from all over the UK, or even people's trips to the UK. So once again, if you want to send those pictures in, you can either go to the main website, britishpages.org/photos. That's britishpages.org/photos, or email them by sending them to post at britishpages.org. That's post at britishpages.org. And Nick also puts a PS here. He says, have another sausage roll. We can't get them here in California, so think yourself lucky. Go on, get stuck in there. No pastry for a while, thank you very much. We can't just keep eating the pastry, dear. Here we go. Here we are, Suko in New York. We don't hear much from anymore, Suko. I know you're a busy girl, dear. What with all your other radio stuff, my love, you're too busy to write to poor little old me anymore. But don't worry, I can handle it. Suko writes, Dear Christopher, why do you think Sharon, that's my sister, is sending you all those chocolates? You remember the chocolate marshmallows? That did show an increase in weight, but I've lost 2 pounds since I stopped eating them, so I'm hoping that was the cause. That and the I don't know about the fruit, we'll have to see. I'm still eating the fruit, incidentally. I've got a nice little bowl of fruit on here today. I've got oranges and lemons and bananas. I don't usually have it up, it was just for the camera. Listen, that dog's barking again. I don't think dog likes the lawnmower. Have you noticed that? Whenever the lawnmower starts, the dog barks. When the lawnmower stops, the dog stops barking. Oh, here we go. Listen, listen, listen. The DIYers are out now. Oh, you can't win, can you? My peace has been shattered. I just wanted a little bit of a quiet chat with you today, and we can't do it, can we? Anyway, Suka says, why do you think Sharon, your sister, is sending all those chocolates? It's retaliation for all the times you've snidely talked about her sloth-like lifestyle, spent lying on the couch, surrounded by her myriad pets, eating chocolates, imbibing all things alcoholic, and demanding to be waited on from that vantage point. You've certainly painted a very pretty picture. It's a subtle way of getting back at you. And I can't say that I blame her. You think she's sending me these chocolates and that just to put on weight? And Suka says, don't tell me you're turning emo. Don't know what that is. She says, what's emo, you ask? I don't know. Tell me. Emo is abbreviation of the word emotional. It is a counterculture. Oh, that's twice I've heard that word today. Hang on a minute. Who was the other one who used that word? Wasn't it Nick? Counterculture. Yes, counterculture. And I've never heard that word before. Isn't that funny? And now I've heard it twice in one show. Anyway, it is a counterculture stereotyped by the media as someone who is emotional, sensitive, shy, introverted, or angst-ridden. Well, that's got to be me, isn't it? All those things. I'm all those things and more. I really am. Now, I don't think you're any of those things. Oh, I am. Definitely all of those things, Suko. But in recent years, the media has linked the emo scene closely with issues of cutting and self-harm, which has me a little worried about you. Yes, I was considering taking out self-harming. I'm already doing it, actually. Yes. I self-harmed myself yesterday while I was in our local supermarket up the road, and I purposely walked past the counter that sells crisps and chocolate. That really hurt. It did. That hurt me big time. The trouble is you can't win, Suko, because on Saturday last week at Belushi's in Hammersmith, where I do some DJing on Saturday nights, the manager came up and says, here, have that. And in front of me was placed a 1 kilogram bar of chocolate. I mean, what can you do? You can't throw it back in his face. Apparently, someone had bought it in from him, and he's a little stronger where it is to refusing such things. I find it very difficult if a packet of Maltesers are placed in front of me or whatever to say, no thank you. But yesterday I did do self-harming, boys and girls. I self-harmed myself by walking past the rows of crisps and chocolate and not purchasing any. I came out of there almost dead, I'm telling you that now. It was awful. Suko says, their motto, emos, is embrace your dark side. Do you think I've got a dark side then? What do you think's on my dark side? Come on, there's a challenge for you. I dare you to email in and tell me what you think my dark side might be. Will I read out the emails? That depends what's in them. But they can be private, okay? What do you think? Do I have a dark side? And if so, what is it? Let me know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I might read edited versions of your emails as they come in on that one, okay? Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Suko says, are you inviting us into your dark side? I don't know. Let's see. You don't dress like an emo. They wear tight jeans, both male and female, and tight t-shirts, which you wouldn't wear because of the recent weight gain. Thank you so much for bringing it up again, my dear. You know how to plunge the knife in, don't you, my love? They wear studded belts, canvas sneakers, and thick black horn-rimmed glasses. Emos love hardcore and punk music, and they like to write poetry. Oh, I don't know any poetry. What was the, there's one I remember from school, bits of it. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the shadows of the night. Can't remember the rest of it. Yeah. She says, here is a quiz to take to find out whether or not you would be categorised an emo. Now, what's the time? Have we got time to do this? Oh, probably, yeah. Here we go. Right, you can do this with me. Go and get yourself a pen, piece of paper. Well, I'm going to find out today if you are an emo. What does that stand for? An emotional. Are you an emotional? Are you an emo? We'll find out whether I am. You ready? Got your bit of paper? Okay, question one. Joy. Joy in action. I want you to do this as well, my darling. Come on. That's it. That's it, dear. Pick up your pen, Joy. There we are. Ready? Oh, she can't find one now. Come on, dear. We've only got 5 minutes left. Get on with it. Pick up your pen, Joy. That's it. Right. Number one. What does emo stand for? Is it A, emotional, B, sad, C, complicated, or D, clueless? Well, we've just found that out, so it's A, isn't it? Emotional. I'll put A for me. Number two. What colour is your hair at this moment? Is it A, jet black, B, multicoloured streaks, C, natural blonde, or D, what hair? Oh, well, I don't know because it's going at the middle, but it's still got a... No, jet black mine is, so A for me. A again. At school you were A, introspective and full of angst, B, quiet and studious, C, sporty, or D, the school motor mouth? I don't know. Actually, I think it was A. Introspective and full of angst. 4. What style of trousers do you wear? A, tight jeans, B, chinos, C, pleated trousers, or D, sweat bottoms, which is tracksuit bottoms. Okay, that's D for that one. Tracksuit bottoms, yes. 5. Do you cry in public? A, often. B, only if excited or depressed. C, I only cry in private. Or D, only when I forget to turn the television or lights off. Now that's a hard one, Suko. Okay, C, I only cry in private. And 6, which of these bands do you like the best? Is it A, Dashboard Confessional? Never heard of them. B, My Chemical Romance. C, The Pussycat Dolls. Or D, ABBA. Well, for me, that will be D and ABBA. Okay. So you got your list of answers, boys and girls? Here we go. If you answer mostly A's, you are so totally one emo-loving dude. Check you out wearing your bleeding heart on your poor tattered sleeve. Emo is a way of life for you, not just a fashion statement or a passing fancy. You, my little emo friend, are the real deal. Let me see. A, D, C, D. Well, I suppose it is. I suppose I have got more A's. I've got 3 A's, 2 D's and 1 C. So there we are. I am an emo. I am an emotional. I didn't know that. If you answer mostly B's, this is for anyone else who's completed this, you have many emo qualities, but you still have one foot firmly in the normal world. Your trousers are tight. Oh, that hurts. Trousers are tight. But not chafing. Your thoughts sometimes sad, but never riddled with angst. To be honest, you have the best of both worlds, so well done, B's. If you answer mostly C's, you know what emo is, but you are not really that interested in thinking too hard about problems or worrying about other things you cannot change. You probably find emo music a bit depressing and tend to shy away from people who look sad and complicated. Are you looking sad and complicated? Please don't be sad. Be my friend. Come on, smile. That's it. If you answer mostly D's, you're in worse shape than the worst of the emos. You need immediate help. Run, don't walk to your nearest mental health hospital. Please don't do it, Chris. The world would not be the same without you. From Suko. And Suko also forgot to mention why she's visiting Manchester. You may remember we did have James Dean from Manchester on the phone, I think this time last week, wasn't it? And indeed, he was telling us things to do in Manchester because I didn't know what there was to do there. She says it's to meet my gorgeous, very slim friend James Dean and the elegant Madam Aries, as well as my adoring fans. Oh, she's got loads of fans up there, you know, Suko in New York. Yes, she has. Actually, I might try and come up to Manchester with you, Suko. I've never been there. Never been there. Now, we got an email from Lisa here, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to have time to read this one out or not, actually. Don't think so. And she sent a little picture of herself as well. No, I don't think we're going to have time to read that one, Lisa, OK? So I'll hold that over to the next show. I'm sorry you did send it in a week or so ago. That'll be on the next show. Now, just before I go today, I wanted to ask you about other podcasts that you listen to. Can you recommend podcasts on any subject, any that you think are well made or perhaps not well made? What do you like about them, that sort of thing? Because I'm doing a little project at the moment on other podcasts, and I review them for someone else. So if you've got any suggestions of other podcasts that I could be listening to, then please send them in to the usual email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. As always, thanks for listening and watching the show today. I'll see you on the next one. For myself, Chris Reardon, out in this lovely sunny garden. I'm going to finish the show and then take my top off and lay here topless. Yep, I thought that would make you switch off. See you soon. Bye-bye.